Welcome to Exploring the Ozarks, where we tell the history and stories of locations, places, and people that make up the Ozarks. Here's Matt! I just love the applause is still, it's just good.
I'm so happy that we switched to that.
Oh, it's the same one. I actually waited a little bit longer to start so that the timing, so we can applaud to you.
I never heard that part of that song until 2 weeks ago. So
I didn't even know it existed either until my brother was like, I used to use that for my podcast, and there's applause at the end. I was like, there's applause?
Stop.
I didn't know that. It's like a light came on. It wasn't like that. It was like, here we go.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's better than the
I'm going to learn the board one of these days.
After hitting those buttons 500,000 times.
500,000.
David Carr, thank you so much for the introduction. Always a good introduction. Hey, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Exploring the Ozarks. I'm Matt Graham, and we're here today at Springfield One Studios for this podcast, but check them out if you need to record your own podcast, put on a small play. There's a nice theater that we just toured right before the show.
Good for comedy, theater.
Such a cool space.
Mystery Hour may never be there, actually. Jeff may be there. I need to get Jeff in there. Yeah?
Ooh.
Yeah? No? Yeah?
It's nice looking. I recommend it.
I should say, I shouldn't put Jeff on the spot like that. He actually was the inspiration for doing a lot of that, is what I should be saying right there. So I'm very happy that we're going to be interviewing him today because he inspired a lot of this stuff.
If you're going to butter me up, do it right.
Sorry, I should have started there and then been like, hey, Jeff.
And he gave you lots of free advice just now as we were touring as well.
So well, it wasn't free because I was going to have to buy stuff.
Okay, well.
It's part of a timeshare package.
That comes next after the show.
Anyway.
But if you want to record your own podcast, play some music, record your music, do a live video of any kind, you can come here and do it in this space for rent. And then, we also like to thank our sponsors that are involved with this as well. So VIP Marketing, Central Bank, Creative Endeavors.
Springfield Studio One, which is what we were just talking about, yeah.
It's a natural fit there.
Yeah.
And then today's guest, we've got Mr. Jeff Houghton with many, many things that he's done in the Springfield area to boost our area.
We probably should talk about Patreon too, though.
And to boost himself. Yes, go ahead and talk about Patreon.
We didn't last time with Jeff and John. It's like, hey guys, you should give us money. Mm-hmm. Go to Patreon. The end. Yeah. I'm just joking.
Patreon's cool.
David,
Patreon is cool.
A lot of people use it.
I think David.
This is a fun story.
Right when the pandemic hit. And I'm just like, all my money goes away because I'm traveling, hosting events, that sort of thing. It all goes away. But I started doing a nightly mystery hour live on Facebook, and during that time I had a Patreon going. I was like, I gotta have some.
Give us money.
Give
us money.
Patreon. I got a Patreon.
Yeah.
And then when I met David, I don't know, like a year later or something, he was like,
"You ever used
coming out of COVID?
You ever used Patreon?"
Yeah. He was like, Patreon. And I was like, yeah, I used it. He's like, have you, something along the lines like, have you
ever checked it and
have you gotten the money from it? And I was like, what?
So you got to check those things.
I had a bunch. All that money wasn't $1 zillion, but all that money.
It was a good chunk of money. It was a good chunk.
Was in Patreon.
You didn't even know.
He didn't. No, I opened it up and I pointed. I was like, Jeff, you have all this money right here.
Oh my gosh!
It wasn't like a huge amount, but it was a good chunk of money. I mean, you could have done some stuff with that.
That's interesting.
During
paid for
desperate
some
times.
food,
and the whole time he's like, I don't even know I have it, but
I knew I had it. I thought it just automatically deposited or something.
Yeah, and it does if you set it up to do that.
Oh yeah, I had not done that.
But you have to verify and do all that fun stuff.
I was like, here's money.
They're not just going to send me a check, I guess.
So I should say we will check our Patreon if you decide to support us. But
speaking of which, have you checked it lately? We've been talking about it for about 10 weeks
check it.
now.
So, but what that is individual supporters can come in and support things like the Mystery Hour or Exploring the Ozarks or things of that nature. And we have $5, $10, $25 tiers, and what it does is it helps pay for everything that goes on here. I mean, everything we do isn't free. We do bring all our guests on for free, and we do want to keep it that way. And to do that, we have sponsors, but also individual supporters it's a great way to help us further our mission of Exploring the Ozarks.
It's a good way to get involved too, just with something that you are
well, and we're doing special things on Patreon. So Patreon isn't just money; it's you get access to content nobody else gets access to. We may start doing some live streams on there eventually. That's just for people on Patreon. So I mean, it's not just that you're giving us money because we are a business. We can't just take donations. you do get stuff out of it, like shout outs. Eventually you get merchandise. We'll do some special stuff on Patreon for people that follow us and give them some more insight into things. So
yeah, merch. That'll be a good one. Swag, some people call it too, right? So
exactly.
We do appreciate anything at this point, but we do have some other sponsors that are lined up that we're still talking to.
Yep.
We've got to outline some things for them, but otherwise, let's just jump right into Jeff Houghton. If anybody is listening to this and they know what the Mystery Hour is and was pre-COVID, we would love for everybody to kind of be identifying you as that, because that was a huge thing that for local brands. I mean,
it was the only late night show around here.
It was the only one that was locally sourced, but there's hardly any that you can even find anymore anyways, it feels like. So it was really cool to see a local guy out there looking as good as he did with all these things on a stage and all these cool guests. So where did this come from as this idea for you?
Oh, well, when I moved to Springfield in 2003, 20 years ago.
Oh, he's not local. Wait, where's it?
Well, and like you said before that, you're counting down the days you've been here. Like,
yeah.
20 years to the day here.
20 times 365 minus 4.
I'm not local either. I moved here when I was, I think, 12. So
Yeah, you guys are in the same boat.
Yeah, no, it's good. We love people from outside of the Ozarks.
Well, yeah, but you're from Iowa.
I'm from Iowa.
Yeah,
and moved down here chasing love.
Oh,
about a year and a half later.
Did you catch it?
Caught it.
Yay!
Oh, good.
All right.
Caught it.
Yeah.
Score.
All right.
Made 3 kids.
It worked.
It worked.
Good.
It was successful.
Good.
And so I joined the Skinny Improv in like May of 2004.
Just for fun.
Just for fun.
It was a fun group.
Yeah, it was the next fall that we got a theater downtown.
Oh, wow.
Started doing shows every Friday and Saturday night.
I just realized that was the year before I graduated from high school, 2004. Like, it was all the rage, Skinny Improv. Well, I shouldn't have said that, it started with that, but that was all the rage at that point. Like, it was like the most hilarious thing to everybody at that point in time.
Yeah, it was.
And it's because of Jeff here, probably.
It was cool.
Well, no, not because of me. Excuse me. Got a frog in my throat. But yeah, I mean, like, the Mystery Hour jumped off of that, so we already had a built-in audience. And people talk to me much more about the Mystery Hour at this point, but the fact that Skinny Improv existed with a show every Friday and Saturday night is pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
That we could do it
pretty much self-produced.
With that frequency.
Yeah.
And draw a crowd. So there's just a lot of good, talented people around here, as you guys know. And so then when I started in the Mystery Hour in 2006, just as a live show, we would do kind of experiment with a 10 o'clock show. Mm. And I just did it as a one-off to start and be like, see if I like this. I had interned at Late Show with David Letterman.
Okay.
In 2000.
Okay. Yeah.
Just something little like that. Yeah, just little thing.
But I was an intern.
I was just an intern.
You were an intern with David Letterman. I mean, you met him, yeah.
But you saw the
Or did he keep you away? Did they keep you away from him, or did you get to meet him? Or
I said hi to him in the hallway a few times.
Did he acknowledge you?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I've always heard he's a very nice guy.
Yeah, he's a pretty quiet guy. Nice guy, quiet guy. He's not kind of the class clown, gregarious.
He's just hilarious in person in an interview. So
cool guy in person, and then when the lights come on, he comes on in that way. So
okay.
I know how that is, man. I get it.
Yeah, the bright lights of Studio One, Springfield Studio One.
I get it, man. Like,
we're all glowing right now. If I had a camera, I'd
like
pan around, like, look at all these lights, guys.
Yeah. The audience,
it's new today. That's why
the audience applause noise from earlier is you can't see because the cameras. It's a huge auditorium.
Yeah, there's at least 100 people, 200, 2,000 people here. Yeah.
Guys, keep it down though. Okay.
Oh wait, oh no, I can't get the sound of the crowd. Dang it, I need to work on that.
So how did let me explore this real quick. How did you get the internship at the Late Show? I mean, I know they want free people to come work for them, right?
Sure, yeah.
So how did you get that?
I'm sure all the interns were killing for that. I mean, geez.
I would.
So I was coming up on graduating. This is me. I mean, this is me in a nutshell.
Right.
Which is, it was like May, and I was like, I should think about what I'm going to do after college. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
So I looked at the career office, career center website, and just had a listing.
This is in Iowa, right?
Yeah, you can picture like a year 2000 website. You still kind of picture it. Like Craigslist.
Oh my goodness,
right?
Yeah.
There's like a line,
AOL
underlined. Yeah.
I used to build websites like that. Yeah. It was
very archaic.
Yeah. So it was listed on there, and I just applied.
Unreal.
I don't know.
So was it one of those things like? No, I won't say that. But yeah, that's cool.
I don't know why I got it. Like, So I got the interview
because they felt bad for the Midwest person.
Yeah, they're
like, hey, we should
kids.
bring someone from the Midwest.
They know how to work.
I think,
and that hard
free.
work ethic. They know they're going to
probably on a farm. We'll get a farm kid.
Did you have to send a reel or anything? Like, this is my work that I've done.
I didn't have any work.
So no essay you had to put in.
Essay.
No, okay.
Maybe cover letter. I'm sure I had a cover letter. But they, I think there is an inordinate number of people from Iowa on there. There might be some connection.
Interesting.
I don't know, in the internship program.
Interesting. Okay.
Kids that want to get out of the Midwest.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. So I got an interview. So I don't know how many. I'm sure thousands apply for it. I don't know. And then it gets down to like the interview 30 for like 16 spots or something. So I was like, okay, now I feel like I got a shot. Yeah. I borrowed a friend's suit. Perfect. And then actually went to the Career Center and practiced an interview with them.
Dude, that's awesome. And, smart move though.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And then I was like, an interview. I bet I can do pretty well in an interview. And it's most people that had like experience at a college radio station or TV station or something like that, or got pretty good grades.
That's what I would assume. Or had a connection.
Yeah, I had no experience, but I got pretty good grades. And I don't know.
You interview well.
Well, I was going to say,
I don't know how I got to the interview.
As an adult now, though, like, have you ever interviewed people at that age and you just kind of like, you do all the background work and you kind of look at them and be like, yeah, okay, you may work. Or maybe
we're all so stupid at that age,
yeah, pretty much,
especially with an interview. You're like, oh God, I sound stupid everything I say.
It was my first flight, since I was on one flight when I was like in third grade or something like that.
Yeah.
It was my first flight. I went and stayed at my friend's.
This is 2002?
2000.
2000. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
And I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know why.
Right?
Well, that's a great break.
Well,
yeah,
do you remember the interview? I mean, was it hard? Was it a process?
What was it? I had to interview with like the HR person who was also the internship coordinator. And then I had to interview with the different departments.
Okay.
And then I think because I've now conducted interviews.
Right.
When I'm looking for someone, I'm just like, they're all equally qualified. Are they like cool to be around?
Yes.
Honestly, that's
what the interview's for. Yeah.
That's a big influence on the decision.
You got to be part of the culture and get along with everybody.
Yeah. And culture is a big thing. Yeah.
I always say that when it comes to like people that want to work in video or production or TV, because I've also spent time in LA, and like one of the things I learned there is that like it's long hours, and it's mostly who you want to be spending those hours with.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That are qualified.
Well, could you imagine somebody that's good at their job, but they are just atrocious to be around the rest of the time? It would make you hate your job.
Unless they're making me a lot of money.
Well, when you're an actor and stuff like that, you get very depressed probably with some people you're around anyway, so it kind of probably comes out in what you're trying to do. So you got to be able to get along with everybody, but that goes with any genre.
Yes, and I also, like, when I was there, I'm jumping around here, but in 2011, I lived in LA, and that was my time, like, to go for it.
Right.
And
how long were you there total?
It ended up being about a year.
Okay.
The idea was my wife stayed here.
I was going to say.
Oh, geez, that is hard.
Cool with that. Yeah.
That's hard to do.
She's like, I'm an adult. We recently bought a house. I have a job.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, cool.
Right.
So I can go?
Yeah. So you're saying I'm good, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So
man, at least at that point, Facebook was a thing, right? You could Facebook each other. I guess you could probably call each other too.
They have phones.
FaceTime was the big thing.
FaceTime was a big. Oh, even better.
That just
video calls. Yeah.
Yeah, we had just gotten our first iPhones right before I left.
Any kids at that point?
No.
Oh, that makes it easier. Yeah.
Yeah. The whole impetus for it was like, let's. We're talking about having kids.
Do this before.
Like, I gotta do this first,
dude.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's
great for her to support you like that. I mean, that's
she's the hero of my whole story. So, but I learned what I learned. Where am I? Oh, people said really you got to be able to give it 4 or 5 years. And now people have given it more time than that.
Oh gosh.
And they said because you got to build relationships. And so like one of the things I really think about with Hollywood, LA, is that like people say it's not how good you are, it's who you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's partly true, but in a non-sleazy way, which is same for banking, same for being in Springfield. When I first moved to Springfield, I couldn't find a job forever because I didn't know anyone.
Right.
And it's building relationships.
Yeah.
So it's like things that I learned for that are applicable for
everywhere
regular
you go.
life.
Absolutely.
That's something Jeff and Josh say in their interview that we did. They say all the time, it's like, it's hard to get into the film industry because when people find their team, they stick with their team.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't branch
and
out
actually
and network with other
getting
people.
into those teams is hard because you have to get to know them and they have to get to trust you. And,
Right. It's a long process.
Oh, I'm both ways. Well, because people would want to be involved in the mystery hour quite a bit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I always say the best way is to kind of hang around and help out.
That's what I did.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
It's true though, because at Pappy's show, I just showed up with Adam, and I was like, "Hey, do you need help?" That's when I did the AV stuff for you guys.
I think not in any intentional way, but just to be like, "Hey, is this person like a cool person to be around?"
Yeah.
And are they like willing and helpful?
Dude, if you're gonna help me, I love you for helping me out. Yeah. That's huge.
And I just gotta like be around you, and like people used to do that with the Skinny Improv, and it's just like the best way. You're like, "Hey, I'm here, I'm willing, available, and I'm normal." You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That helps too, actually.
Yeah.
Well, and it goes both ways. I found you guys to be normal-ish. I mean, ish.
Don't insult us.
Thanks for having me, David.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
I'm
going
going
to
leave now,
case.
guys.
That's good.
See you later.
You need to check the cameras or something.
I may need to now.
So you go to New York. You're David Letterman's intern, we'll just say.
Not as personal.
Sure, but part of the show.
Part of the show. I was in the talent department.
So so this has always
you acquired talent?
It's going to be ingrained in you. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, well, I worked for the people that booked the talent.
Okay.
So I
gotcha.
did copies and errands for them. But I also got to give like people guests like shirts and
that's cool.
hats and
So you got to meet some of these big name actors then.
I'm not sure they remember.
Sure, probably not. But but you got to meet them regardless, right?
Yeah. And like there's 4 of us, I think. So every 4th day I got to be backstage. People would come in. They'd come in out of their car off the street and have to turn and then go up the stairs or the elevator to the dressing room area. So one of my jobs then every 4th day was to stand back there and hold the door open.
Okay.
So I was
a
I was paid as much as a doorstop, and I was a doorstop.
God, that makes you feel wonderful, doesn't it? To just sit back and think about how much that meant to you, I'm sure. But at least you get to be one of the first people to see those people coming in, good or bad, I would assume.
I mean, I would just say personally, if I'd had that opportunity and I was paid that little, I would
I'd
do
hold
it.
the door
I
all
would
day,
do
man.
it. I would, especially at that age. At that age, I would. Now, at my age, I wouldn't.
I would do it
but
just
at
for
that
fun.
age, I would do it.
You're like, give me a cookie or something. Now.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
At
in
least
my
feed
30s.
me some food.
My first day, Shaq was the guest.
Oh, jeez.
Jeez Louise.
Is he as cool in person as he is like?
See, like I never feel like I can actually give an assessment.
Sure.
Like,
You held the door.
open.
Yeah.
Was he cool? Was he cool to you? I guess
He
would be
seemed
the
cool.
question.
He seemed cool.
Yeah.
I like that. And you could say the part, he seemed cool or he didn't seem cool. We should do a game with you. Be
love
like,
that.
hey, does this person seem cool or not?
Well, like, because everyone's like, yeah, I met a celebrity once. They were coming out of a cheesecake factory, and you're like, what are they like? You're like, well, he seemed like a really nice guy. But it's like, you had a 1-second encounter, which is a lot of my encounters. Right. I can't sum up a person in that one moment on one day.
Good
You don't
or
have that
bad, yes. So
But
they're
we all
all
do
pretty
that.
cool. Yeah, they're all pretty cool.
I'm sure they're all great.
I'm trying to think, who's the most famous person you've met, Matt?
Michael Jordan, hands down.
Wow.
Michael Jordan was. It's actually pretty cool because it was much longer. He spent like 30 minutes talking to our family.
Yeah.
Wow.
We were at a Michael Jordan basketball camp for my brother. He thought he could play basketball. And especially once he left Michael Jordan's basketball camp, he thought he was really good. But then we were sitting there waiting for him to come out of the dorms the last day, and we were parked next to this Mercedes that had the little windshield wipers on the headlights, and we were like, "Oh my god, that's got to be somebody rich, right? Like it's a Mercedes with windshield wipers on the lights. Like who has that?" And then all of a sudden, we see Michael Jordan walking out of this back door, and he's playing his Game Boy. When Game Boys first came out in like 93 or something, 90 I think. And he comes walking over, and my dad, he's looking at him, and I'm like, that's Michael Jordan. And everybody's like, no way, that's not Michael Jordan. He goes, and my dad's like, that's Michael Jordan. And so I'm the youngest of 4, and I think there was 3 kids with us, and we all pile out of our conversion van. And sure enough, Michael Jordan was super cool about it. He paused his Game Boy, and we stood and talked for like 30 minutes. And
that is awesome.
I think he really appreciated it because we didn't try to bombard him for autographs and stuff. Like we didn't even have a pen. We didn't have anything ready to like get an autograph or anything. We just stood and talked to the guy, and he was the nicest guy you've ever met in your life. I mean, it seemed like 2 hours, but it was like 30 minutes, but that's still a lot.
Yeah.
I've heard other stories about him not being so friendly, but I don't judge anything on that because it's always about what I personally believe.
Yeah.
And he's super awesome to us.
You don't know how he was interacted with too by those people.
Well, he's a billionaire, so it depends on when you catch him.
True.
When I was a kid, I was a ball boy for the University of Iowa Hawkeye basketball team. And my first game was a Washington Bullets exhibition game.
Oh, cool.
In like 91.
Oh, dude, some big names, though.
Yeah, so the crowd is lined with kids trying to get autographs. And I was like,
I'm the ball boy.
I have access to all of them.
I sauntered up.
You're like, these are my buddies. It's cool, guys.
So I passed the ball to Jordan. Pippen,
wow.
So I got to pass the ball when they were just like shooting,
That's awesome.
And I think he had a breakaway dunk on my end. Anyway,
Very
we're
cool.
pals.
I once saw Michael Jordan on TV. So
That's good.
See, we have different levels here of interaction.
Right.
Well, good.
Jeff got to pass a ball to him and see him dunk right in front of him. I'm sure he attributed that dunk to you as the juice that was on the ball.
Probably dedicated
right?
it to,
Do you know what his middle name is? Jeffrey.
Stop.
It wasn't before that. I think he's like, this kid's inspiring. I believe I can fly.
I believe I can. Anyway, I won't start singing.
That's too good, man. I'm sitting here thinking the J's. I'm like, he's going to say it. He's going to say it. But this is why you're so good at what you do. This improv, I'm sure that it was a blessing to have you on the improv. So you took what you learned over at this. How long were you at David Letterman's again, you said?
A semester.
A semester?
Yeah.
Probably seemed like a lifetime in New York, though. Or did it go by so quick?
I don't know. Yeah, a semester goes by fast and takes a while.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
first time away, and it's a huge deal. So then what'd you go after that?
The dumb thing I did.
Uh-oh.
was not stay there. Like I should have stayed there. That's the smart thing. Not stay at Letterman. Stayed in New York. Like,
use that connection with Letterman too, or the fact that I was on the Letterman show.
It's a good way to start. So what made you say, "I'm done with this. I'm going home"?
So and a lot of the people that worked at Letterman were former interns, and so similar like what we're saying, like hanging around doing some work for free,
right?
And then people are like, "Hey, you're cool."
Yeah. You make a good doorstop.
Yeah. So I didn't do that. I came back to Iowa, and then I met a girl in Missouri, and then I come down, and like it turns out that because I moved in 2003, started doing the skinny in 2004.
Right.
In the weird way that life can work sometimes, like if I had stayed in New York or something, I don't know, maybe I'd be rich and famous. I don't know. Maybe I should dwell on that.
Don't do that.
but like maybe I would have taken improv classes. I'm not sure. Whatever. I would have been like kind of grinding for a long time. Yeah. But then I kind of come here and like I get to do comedy every weekend.
Yeah, and you're well known. People respect what you've done,
and that's what you wanted to do, though. I mean, if you're going to have to suffer for a while first, why not just go do it? I agree with you.
Yeah, and I mean,
and have an audience.
So then later, when I moved to LA and moved back, part of my thinking was, would I rather try to get the chance to say one line on a TV show, or would I rather come back and do the thing I want to do, even though I'm not making money at it?
Yeah.
And I think the other way is perfectly reasonable.
Right.
But I was like, I want to be doing the thing.
Yeah.
Well, and that's a big thing you say a lot is make something where you're at.
Make something where you are.
I feel like, or make something where you are. Yeah. And that's a big inspiration. I mean, that's inspired me to do a lot of these things I'm doing right here. Man. I mean, and a lot of people, other creatives around here.
Yeah.
Because I mean, seeing somebody that actually achieves that level of like being on TV and having a big night show and having that kind of notoriety, is that the right word in this kind of this situation?
I think everybody knows.
I mean, that gives everybody else around here a thought that maybe that can be accomplished around here. I mean,
I hope so.
Yeah,
it's accomplishable, you know, and unless you have a pandemic or something that slaps you across the forehead,
throws a wrench in there. Yeah,
as they do.
And so you started the Mystery Hour what year?
I started the Mystery Hour in
2006
as a live show,
right?
And on TV in 2012.
Okay, there we go. So 6 years it took you to get a whole plan ready and sell it to a network or a local network, anyways, for them to say yes, we're going to put you on TV. I mean, how hard was that?
So I did the show as a live show. Like first show I did,
even harder.
I was like, I got done with it. Well, the very first show, I don't know if anyone's going to show up or anything.
Right.
I was having a guy who was running for state senate on. Felt like a huge get for me because I didn't know.
Who was it?
Doug Harpool.
Oh,
yeah, I remember Doug.
I don't. But,
yeah, I think he might be a judge And Matt Lemon, who was the editor of Go magazine, which used to be under 417. So I had them on, but a professor, I don't know who it was, at Missouri State heard about it and gave extra credit for students who came, because there's a guy running, there's a political professor, political science.
Oh, very cool.
There's a guy running, so you get extra credit if you came. So the first show was packed.
What a blessing.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I got done with that and I was like, holy cow, this is what I want to do.
Wow. Chase that high.
Yeah. And I was like, I was also like, there's no way.
That's crazy. You're like, how do I get a hold of these professors from here on out for students?
So I was like, I just want to keep doing it. I just want to, like, I'm not sure I never had any notion of it being on TV or being syndicated. I just wanted to keep doing it, which I think also is like, for you youngsters out there, is like the lesson. Like, if you like doing it, keep doing the thing. Don't worry about it like being huge right away. Like, people ask me how I did it, and I was like, it took forever.
Well, I mean, listen though, but we're in the same phase right now too.
Yeah.
I mean, we just started this podcast, and we've had some incredible guests so far. And sometimes I get worried. I'm like, why are there not more people watching this? Why do we not have more people following us? But I also follow Gary Vee quite a bit, and he said that he churned out every single day. He was doing a video for 4 years before anybody even watched one of them. And then after that, it became, he was the leading guy in doing this type of content. You know what I mean? And it took him 4 to 10 years to even get to that moment.
That's the phrase I like to say in that situation is, the overnight success is people don't see the 3-4 years before that they worked their butt off to get to that point.
And you are the epitome of that. So
I'm the epitome of working hard and not making money at it.
Well, that's most creatives, isn't it? I can also attest to that, as somebody that has a studio and a space, and it's like, oh yeah, that's all the stuff. I'm creative. I can do all this, but where's the money?
It's hard to be creative and make money from what I've found so far. I mean, doing home loans is completely different, but as far as you go from 6 years of, where did you do your live show to begin with? It wasn't on TV, obviously.
Right. It was at the Skinny Improv, so we had a space on Park Central East.
It wasn't filmed.
Nope.
Anything like that.
So we had camcorders sometimes.
Okay.
But no, we put some things up, but we'd shoot videos. I mean, another thing. I mean, I got pretty adept at videos by doing a zillion bad ones. I mean, like our early videos were
fail up, right, or fail to succeed.
Our bits. Like, now if I'd shoot a video for a bit, I want it to be like 2.5 minutes max. Right. Those were like 8 minutes.
Whoa. Back in the day when people had attention spans.
I think they had more attention span, and we didn't know what we were doing. So put everything.
Well, there wasn't research either to say do a 2.5 minute video versus an 8 minute video.
No.
You just thought, I got a lot to do.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know when we started putting. I mean, Mystery Hour started in 2006. I think YouTube started in 2005. Like, I didn't know.
That's very true.
I don't know what year.
And it wasn't even a thing hardly.
No. No. So we do the show for 5 years. Then my wife and I have the conversation about having kids. Then I'm like, I got to go to LA. So I quit the Skinny, quit my job, quit the Mystery Hour.
What was in LA? I mean, I know what
the entertainment industry.
I understand. What was?
And the reason why it's out there is because New York, New York had monopoly in the 1920s. So everybody was like, "Hey, we're going to get out from underneath their thumb. We're going to go to California. We can keep going back if you want."
No.
And France actually started the film production, and then they would send anyway.
No, this is more of a personal journey I'm going on with Jeff. Okay, so
the personal journey. Okay, so gotcha.
I'm just trying to say, did you go out there just saying, you know what, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to try to hook up with certain people? Like, you had a list you wanted, or did you just go out there blindly?
But how creepy is that? Did you have a list of people?
Oh my god! Oh man!
Yeah.
So, oh boy!
Yeah, I'm thinking like producers.
Right. No, that's fair.
There we go. There's that sound.
So my idea was, I either want to go make it big, or I need to go through the process of trying. Like, the idea of like Hollywood was this like insurmountable mountain. I don't know where any paths are.
Right.
And I was like,
true.
I need to like kind of, I mean, it's still that way in a lot of ways, but I kind of understand it. I don't even know if I understand it. I understand that it's doable, is what I understand now.
There's a formula almost.
Yeah. What is it?
Networking, right? Meeting the right people.
You have to have talent. You have to meet the right people.
Holding enough doors, you know? I mean, be willing to work.
The best advice I got was from Springfield native Dana Powell, who's out there. She was on like Modern Family. She's done a ton of guest spots.
What was she on Modern Family? What did she do?
She
I kind of love that show right now.
Cam's cousin.
Like, yeah.
Really? Oh yeah, because she was on the Mystery Hour at one point too.
Yeah,
You guys
she's on a
interviewed
few
her.
times.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So she said she had gotten this advice from someone. I think I can remember to say it right. That you need 2 out of 3 things: luck, perseverance, and talent.
Yeah.
You can't do it with one of them.
Yeah.
Like if you have luck but you don't have any talent, that'll go away quickly.
Oh man.
You can, if you have perseverance but no talent, I'm not sure you're going to get anywhere.
You're going to waste a lot of time.
But if you have 2 out of those 3, you can do it. But you don't need all 3.
Huh.
And I was like,
wow,
that sums it up.
That was, I know Terry Crews. I mean, I'm sure you've heard his name. He talked about one point. He was talking about how he was getting into sets, but it was one of the big things was like just perseverance. But the big thing he said was like, if you just show up and help. And be
That's
there
what I was
to
saying
actually
earlier.
help
That's what
the
he
crew.
said too,
Yeah.
yeah.
If you're there to actually do the thing and
got
be
it from me.
helpful,
we
he
talking
did.
about-
You probably met him out there in
Are we talking about
2011.
Terry Crews on America's Got Talent? Terry Crews host?
I don't know on that. He
Right?
was
Yes,
on
yes.
Yeah.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Lots of movies, too.
Yeah. Oh, he's in a ton of
He's
places
hilarious.
now. Yeah.
Do you know what his middle name is?
No.
Jeff.
Jeffrey.
Is
Stop it.
Like literally?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Probably.
It's a running gag.
It better be now. We have to write a letter or something.
So what was that? Oh yeah. So I mean,
So you were out in LA.
no connections.
Yeah.
No
The
connection.
first thing I did was I started just asking around, hey, do you have any connections out there? And I made a spreadsheet
There you
of
go.
like connections,
There you go.
connections of connections of connections.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd just go ask them to lunch or ask them a coffee.
There you
That's
go.
how I started. I'm not sure. I don't know if it got me anywhere or not, but because when I'd worked at the community blood center of the Ozarks as a field rep, so I'd
Sales.
organize
how to
blood
do that,
drives.
yeah.
Oh.
Start new blood drives and work with volunteers, speak at things.
Well, that's how you
But-
do things around here. The whole, hey, let's go get a cup of coffee.
Well, that's how
It
networking
works,
is, man. Yeah.
It works.
But like, so I had a spreadsheet and I'd just say like, here are my updates all the time with these people. But like probably the most random one was my grandma was in a nursing home and one of her neighbors had a granddaughter whose boyfriend worked at CAA as a junior agent. Like that. I had
Ding,
coffee
ding,
with him.
ding. All right.
I feel like we need to draw a diagram on the
Yeah.
video podcast
6 degrees
now. How
of
did this
situation.
work?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kevin
so I would
Bacon.
just do that. I started taking improv classes. I did a bunch of bad stand-up, a lot of bad auditions.
But you did it.
Yeah, I would just go do it. And my main takeaway was not that like I'm great or anything, but I was like, I can hang. Like,
That's good.
And that the people that are out here, I think those of us in the Midwest have this impression that them out there have something that I don't have.
Right.
And it's really like they were willing to go for it.
Yeah.
Is the thing.
They
But I
take a
bet a lot
chance.
of them don't have perseverance like a lot of Midwest people that we know. You know
Sure.
what I mean?
And
to
it can-
keep going. Someone
doesn't-
says no, you're going to keep going.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be like doesn't have to be the acting world.
Right.
Like people that have perseverance in a lot of ways.
Absolutely.
Like especially small business owners that
Oh,
have grown
gosh.
their business
Mhm.
and like
Oh, gosh.
and I gained a lot of respect for people that are in crappy movies where it's like, you know, like
they work their butts off.
They
for that
do.
crappy
Yeah,
movie.
they do.
and like
They
not,
may look crappy compared to like A-listing stuff, but it's like, no,
There's
it's hard.
18 hours a day of filming and whatever else.
and
Yeah.
they're not choosing like when you get to a Brad Pitt level, they're setting you scripts and you're choosing between them.
Mhm.
When you are starting out, you're like, I'm like, I want to do comedy. If someone said, hey, I'll put you in this, I don't know, I'm
Horror
trying to think of
flick.
something.
If you use like the
horror
big
flick.
Big Bang
Right.
Theory, where she had like, I don't know if you watched that, where she had to be a killer ape, a woman that was turned into a killer ape.
Yeah.
That was the role she was offered. She's like, I got to take it because, you know,
it's,
Yeah,
it's a role.
It's a role.
You take what you get, and then like if you do 2 of those, people are like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, you're the
You're the
horror
guy.
guy that gets killed."
Yeah.
and you're like, "I guess I'm the horror guy that gets killed." Okay,
But I'm also a comedian. I'm hilarious.
but no one's choose. You don't go out there and choose it. Like you
Oh.
take what's available,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I think while you'll see someone that's like, you know them for one thing for a while, and then they do something else, and you're like, I didn't know you
A
could
little
do that.
mad.
And they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, because you don't know me.
Dude,
I've been able to do this my whole life.
Well, you know, we had that same conversation earlier about John Leguizamo, you know, about
Yeah.
how funny he is, and everything he did was comedy for years and years, and then he starts taking roles that are dramatic, and you're like, dude, this guy can
Yeah.
act.
some
Like,
chops,
he's
yeah.
amazing at it.
You
Yeah.
hear a lot. I just listened to a podcast interview with Paul Rudd. I don't know if you guys.
Paul Rudd's
I do,
amazing, too.
yeah.
Have you guys
Yeah.
heard there are other podcasts? Did you guys know that?
I did not know that.
that
I
weird?
thought we were starting something
That's
here,
what I
man.
thought. And then I heard one last week. I was like, there are more of these.
So flattering.
What?
That's so flattering, Jeff.
But
All right.
so anyway, yeah, I mean, he took I can't remember where, but he was in England taking classes in Shakespeare and stuff. And like
Jeez.
he could have he could have gotten booked in that route, and we're like, yeah, the classical actor Paul Rudd, and then he does something later. We're like, oh wow, he's funny.
Well, it's
Dude,
like
he
Patrick
was funny.
Stewart, you know, Star Trek. But he's
so
a classically
dry.
trained Shakespearean actor.
And but he's so funny in his delivery and stuff he does at comedy. You're just like, when
or like
I've
Tom
been
Hanks.
waiting on this.
Have you seen Tom Hanks do Shakespearean at
I
plays?
have seen, yeah.
No.
You don't expect to see it, but he does it, and it's like, oh, this is real. And that's.
But he's a true actor through and
He
through,
is
though.
amazing.
Some guys just have that knack for it.
Can we get Tom Hanks on here? I know
bet we
he's not
could.
from he's not from Missouri.
We're
but,
supposed to have
yeah.
Brad Pitt on here.
Yeah. I talked to Tom Hanks when I was working at Letterman. He was one of my memorable ones because he was like so nice.
Tell us the story.
Well,
Because we need to know more about.
Was that
Tom
all he
Hanks.
said was, oh man, he's just such a
no,
nice
it was
guy.
like no, I can assess his entire character because I talked to him for a minute.
Is his middle name Jeffrey? Now,
Of course. But he had, I mean, they were going to get him coffee, and it was taking a long time. So they're just like, hey, go up there and tell him that his coffee's coming. So I said, Mr. Hanks, just want to let you know your coffee's on his way. He said, oh, that's fine. Thank you. That was my interaction. I was like, that guy is nice through and
he's
through.
a nice guy.
He's the nicest guy ever. I'm telling everybody from here on out. Well, that's awesome because you did see a lot of guests. So I mean, you know, so you go L.A. and how long were you in L.A.? So you're
Ended up
doing
being
your
about a
thing.
year.
A year.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't give much long.
I didn't give much long.
Was that because the wife was like, "Hey, it's time to have you back home," or what?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I told her, when you tell me to come back, I will.
Okay.
So she said to come back, and
Okay.
our bank account
Agreed.
agreed.
Well, yeah,
And you're like, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
do it.
fine.
You're right,
Do
honey.
it.
It's
So
expensive out here.
Yeah, came back, and I had like the reason the Mystery Hour happened on TV is because there was KSFX, which was the Fox affiliate.
Mm-hmm.
They got outbid for their Fox affiliation by this other company. So then all of a sudden then KOZL begins, which
Right.
is on now, and they're like, we're a local channel, like, well, we're looking for local programming, and I was like, hey guys, I have a show.
This is
Oh,
local.
man.
This is very local.
I got a
Yeah.
show.
Right.
So, so I was home visiting. It was September. I was home visiting. We'd see each other like once a month. And I was home visiting. It was when she said, hey, I think it's time for you to come home. I said, let me finish this class at Upright Citizens Brigade.
Oh wow,
I'll come back in December.
that's a big name.
Yeah. And so then I found the email recently. My friend emailing me. It was like, hey, they're looking for local programming. And I was like, hey. So I sent him an email and just said, hey, I've got a show, Mystery Hour. I can meet with you next week, but then I'm going back to Hollywood.
Oh my gosh.
I was literally living in Hollywood in my friend's parents' spare bedroom.
Well, you were living in Hollywood.
But
was
you
living-
didn't
That's all
add
they
that
need to know.
part.
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I was going back to Hollywood.
Yeah.
So I met with them that week, and they said, well, let's stay in touch. When you come back, we can talk some more.
Oh,
So I
already
moved back.
impressed.
Then I talked to them again in January, and they said, let's go for it.
Wow.
I said, cool, let's do it.
And
But
you're
I didn't
like,
have a venue.
That's what I was-
I didn't have a crew. I didn't have a camera. I had nothing. I just said, yeah, let's do it.
That right there is some extra good confidence.
Well, that's so.
Here
when
comes the perseverance part.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, and he built something great out of it too. You guys eventually had what, a 30-person crew. You were at the Galois.
You need a crew. You need a venue.
Yeah.
you
Sure,
the
you need all these
equipment,
things.
You need guests.
I was like, I can put a show together.
I worked on David Letterman a semester. I got this.
I know people.
I know this. I got this.
I made copies in New York.
Okay.
Because there's a secret manual.
fine, I got
There's a
it.
secret manual that all interns have access to. It's like, here's how you run a late night show.
I
Start with coffee.
I worked at an Apple store in LA.
Oh.
I made copies in New York. You guys.
And you just,
We got
just
it.
bought his
We
iPhone
got
right
it.
before he
We got
left,
it.
too. I love it.
Oh yeah, I was the.
Right. So you were a good actor. Yeah.
Well, I was the least knowledgeable person there by far. Probably all Apple stores. And
He was the guy holding the door. You could do,
Yeah,
I could do
I
that.
wish, but people would ask me questions. That was the problem.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. You're
So-
like, that guy knows.
Yeah. So that was one of my lessons from LA. Just say yes and figure it out.
Yeah.
was
Yes.
like,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll put a show together.
Yep.
So I got a venue, the old Randy Bacon space, the Monarch Art Factory, which is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Got a venue, and then like a week or two before we're scheduled to film, I got a sponsor that could help cover any costs.
Wow.
Nice.
I mean, it's so unadvisable, but these are the things you do when you're young. And so yeah, so I got it up and running, and then we had like a rehearsal the night before, and I was like, oh no, we're screwed.
Oh man,
because people are looking to me for answers, and I was like, I don't know anything. I made copies.
They're like, I heard though you worked for David Letterman,
And you got a basketball out to Michael Jordan.
Right.
yeah, like, gosh,
And you know a friend, a grandmother's daughter's boyfriend's.
oh my gosh, this is the best story
Yeah.
ever.
So then we have the taping the next night, packed house.
Who taped it? Was it Fox that came in and did it, or did you guys have to wrestle?
I had to get people.
Oh my word!
Oh,
Yeah, I had to get people.
wow,
And they were looking to me, and so then the this story is crazy. So packed house. We had fans from doing the show for a long time, and I'm gone for a long time. I had a blog the whole time I was there.
Okay,
called the Mystery Year. Every day I'd update it.
that's super cool.
I like that.
And
yeah.
so people like followed along on my journey. It was very meaningful for me.
That is neat.
And so then everyone's like, oh my gosh, you got the show on TV, let's do this, here we go. and so Tom Turton was my video sidekick.
Okay.
We'd record segments with him, and
Yeah.
then we'd say he's the sidekick. I mean, we're only on Springfield at this point. So we get everyone warmed up. You know, we'd done rehearsal the night before. We'd rehearse stuff that day. Then I'm like, I do my little monologue thing, and then I toss it to Tom Turton, my video sidekick, this video, and you can see him, but you can't hear what he's saying. It's just some music playing. So we had to shut the show down to figure out what's going on.
Oh no!
And this is I don't quite understand it. But we're right next to what became Lost Signal that had been a radio station, right?
Oh.
Where that Randy Bacon is,
Mhm.
right? They got a radio tower.
Okay.
So the guy that was running we were just running everything off of a computer. The guy that was running it had done like tech for shows there.
Mm.
We're trying to figure it out. And then so we're shut down for like 45 minutes. Everyone's
no.
we have to shut down for 45 minutes to try and figure this out.
And this is all live.
It's all live.
Oh, shoot.
Well, the show is, live as in there's a live
pre-recorded.
audience.
Live
so we're
audience,
recording the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So editing saved your ass.
yeah. So, so then I'm on stage filling time, doing improv, bringing people up. But the whole time I'm like looking to the back like,
Oh, God. How much longer, guys?
So what happened is, and I don't understand this, but this is the way the guy explained it to me behind the computer. He said the radio station is no longer there. It was just an empty building, but people can, I don't know how this works, call in to the tower and play music
Oh,
from their phone or
What?
something. I don't understand.
And it was interfering?
So then
it's the signal from the radio tower was
so the signal from the radio
overlapping
tower,
the signal. Yeah.
the graphics card in the laptop was picking up that signal.
Whoa.
And the graphics card.
And that's why we were getting screwed.
How in the hell?
It's things
so-
you can't prepare for either. I mean, how do you even know
So
to
now
ask that question?
I'm imagining you up there trying to take down a radio tower. You know, like at that point, that's pretty desperate.
And I don't know. I mean, David knows this. I know very little about technology, but what I do know now is way more than I knew then.
Sure.
Which is saying something.
So then instead of I guess their solution was to run everything through a task cam, like a little recorder
yeah.
first
Yeah.
or second. Somehow we did
Bypass.
around it. Yeah.
Wow.
And we were able to get the show up and running. But we used to do
Close
4
call.
episodes.
At once.
I hate thinking of this. So we used to do 4
I love
episodes
this.
before we figured out that 3 was the magic number. And
Yeah.
Yeah, 3's good.
4 was
makes
too
sense,
many.
yeah.
4
4
was
will
too
wear
many.
you out. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
3 wears you out.
And one of our guests was Johnny Wilkinson, who had been Elvis's guitarist. He was an older
Oh,
guy.
wow. Yeah.
He would
Super cool.
end up passing away from cancer, which he had at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And he was our last guest because he was like our marquee guest. But his wife is like, "Hey, can we get this going?" Like, I know. So we finally get it going, and we had Todd Gummerman was my guest. Todd was at the time a guitarist for Mute Math.
Oh, wow.
And then he's from Springfield, and now he's with 21 Pilots.
No way.
Wow. That's cool.
And
So he was our
Elvis
guest.
is too. It's
Yeah.
nuts, man.
Yeah.
I love
Jeff can bring in the big guests.
it. Yeah,
That's right.
man.
So he was our guest. So we finally get the show started. Right before we get it started again, just a downpour.
Oh no.
The problem being there's a skylight above the stage.
Oh no.
It's just pelting it. It's so loud.
Man.
Your audio engineers are all going, oh.
So no one could hear anything. And that was how we got the mystery hour off the ground.
Well, there must have been some sort of magic in there because, yeah, that's a...
So that was
they kept going with it.
Then in May, I had to deliver the show to the TV station. We did that. We were going to tape in March. We taped in April. I had to deliver the show to the TV station. And like we had a premiere date.
So
and
you're editing the hell out of that thing.
I was just like, I had to call the GM and be like, we don't have the show done.
Oh, no.
And he goes... He's long gone, but I called him when we wrapped the show like a year and a half ago. I was just like, hey, thanks for taking a chance on us. But when I was talking to him at that point, he was like, honestly, I thought you knew a little more about TV. I was like, no.
Yeah. And you're like, yeah, everybody
you
else
got
that's
dazzled
with me,
by the Hollywood. Oh, yeah.
and everybody that was shooting this with you thought you did too, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
I love that you flew by the seat of your pants and got it done. But
Yeah. I
so
mean,
you call them and you say, but we can't, we're not going to be this ready for this at all.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Because we had younger people doing the show, like college age. And we didn't have like a switcher. So they were editing 5 cameras.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow.
And didn't really, or maybe 4, and they didn't have experience to do it. They didn't have a ton of experience,
not
and
easy.
it's difficult.
What
It's
a
not
crash
easy.
course, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have a switcher, you can just like live switch it, and
Yep.
it's
Right.
85% done.
Yep.
So thanks for taking me back to that memory.
Well, this is what I wanted to hear, man.
And this is where we're going to be ending here,
well,
too.
you know, it's because well, this
Part 2.
Part 2
coming
needs
up.
to come up, actually. Yeah.
We do need to have a part 2 with you because there's a lot to unpack because you did go through a whole COVID year, which is other things that happened to you. So trial by fire on your first one, you learned a lot, number 1, but you learned a lot of workarounds, number 2. But let's just talk about what Jeff does now, you know.
Oh, Jeff does now.
Yeah.
Quickly, though. I know. Short story.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, this has been fun though.
It's been a lot of fun.
I
This is
love
probably
this.
one of our more entertaining ones so
Absolutely.
far. So.
Is there another show coming on after this?
No.
Just kidding.
We can keep talking if
Yeah.
you want.
Yeah.
40 minutes at a time.
So now what I do is, COVID year was difficult in a lot of ways for a lot of people.
Yes.
If
Like
you're
I
in
s-
entertainment, huge.
Yeah, like I said, my income goes away.
Right.
And I had already, like a month before, like February 2020, life was just like crazy in that my workaround for like spending so much time on the mystery hour, like really going for it. Like the whole time I was like, we're just going to go for it. My goal isn't to necessarily just be on local TV or to be on a couple places. I want to swing for the fences.
That's what it looked
Yeah.
like.
So like
to
every
me.
step.
Well, you were getting really close, too.
You got good guests, big guests from big shows.
When you were on
every
17
s-
markets.
You did such a good job too, man.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, man.
But every step of
Just
the
keep
way.
building you up. Building you up.
Every step was the easier choice is to go for a smaller goal. But we're swinging for the fences. And I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but like for finals week in college, maybe the week before, I'd be like, you know what? I'm going for it. I'm not worrying about doing social things. I'm just going for it. I can do this intense period for now,
Right.
and it'll be worth it.
Right.
I got all the other weeks of the year.
Right.
And that's what it felt like I was doing for like 10 years.
Oh,
Does that make
wow.
Oh,
sense?
yes,
Yeah.
it does.
Oh,
So
gosh.
I was like, I'm just going for it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's go for it. And that'll wear you down. And it wasn't like in a bad way. Like I'd heard Seinfeld say, like he'd been, this isn't my story. This was not my story, but he'd been offered way more money to keep doing the show.
Yeah.
And I heard him say in an interview once, like there's an energy to a show. And when that energy starts going down, it's just time.
Yeah.
So like there was an energy, it was more my energy, like where I was like, I have 2 kids.
Yeah.
My workaround for spending all this time going for it is that I travel and host events, which is great.
Right.
I was able to make an income doing that. But 1, it goes away when COVID starts. 2, I was like, this setup doesn't work for me long term, like with a family and stuff.
Right.
If I want to get more money, then I have to be gone more. And that's just not the equation I want as a father.
Right.
So,
Good of you to do that.
yeah, it just, it's heart-wrenching for me to like end this thing, but it was so easily the right thing.
Right. Very well put.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I take it off TV. We do a big finale. And
I
all
was
that
there
stuff.
for that, I should
Yeah,
say.
it was fun.
Yeah,
It's a
it
good
was
show.
good. It was good.
We did pop-up shows, during kind of like when COVID numbers would go up and down. When they were down, we'd do a pop-up show at different places. And then, so since then, what the Mystery Hour looks like is we do monthly improvised mystery hours. So there's an interview and there's a musical guest, but there's short form comedy to start and then long form comedy at the end. Short form improv, long form improv.
Love it.
And so we still get to do it. And like the Galois was awesome. I love doing stuff there. But I felt a pressure to like try and fill 1,000 seats.
I mean,
yeah.
And
it's a big place.
I was like, not from now on, for a while, all I want to do is small sold out shows. That's why we did a show at Pappy's. So we just like pick different places. And then I was just like, because I don't actually care about the size of the audience. I want that room to feel like it needs to feel.
Well, and that's what you mean. Like at the Galois, you could have 300 people there. But when you pan out to that audience, it looks like nobody's there. 300 people at Pappy's looks huge. Like it looks great.
That's the feel. So I got done with it, and I was like, what I like from this, or what I love from this that I want to keep doing.
There you go.
And one was doing live shows. Like if I had a TV show without an audience, I'd have far less interest in it. So doing a live show with an audience, I was like, got pretty adept at making funny videos. There's a market for that. So I started the Writer's Room Creative Comedy Agency, doing specifically comedy, videos, and advertising. And then I still travel and host, but my goal is to generally make like a third of my income or something, so I'm not so reliant on it. And then the other thing that I recently started under the umbrella of the Writer's Room is I turned my office into a studio with different looks.
It's really impressive.
The idea being that like you take a room, like it's a little bigger than this room, but like we could have a set on one corner and a different set on another corner. You just move things around, like try to make it really modular.
Right.
So what I might do original content from there eventually, but my start is that I will interview you about your business, professional looking interview with a host and a nice looking set. And
which is really important because most people, they don't know what to say on a camera.
Oh
and
my
I could
gosh.
say that as an experienced person that has done a lot of interviews with people, they're like, I don't know what I'm going to say. There's very few people that actually know what to say. But Jeff is really good about knowing how to get them to say the right answers and get what they want to say out there.
Thanks. And I tell people like, if you guys weren't here and it was just a video camera and I'm like, say something for my business, I wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah, no.
So having someone kind of guide you through it, and the idea is to make it intentionally digital. That TV is great, but I mean, obviously social and digital is what's growing. Right. So let's do these intentionally digitally. So I'll do a full length video interview and then 1 question interviews. So you have bite-sized things to share on your social or put on your website. So it's been, I mean, I've had my dad broke his leg. My wife broke her ankle.
Oh, geez.
My wife had a baby. We've had all this stuff since
surgeries.
Launched it in August.
Since COVID.
Launched it in October.
Yeah, the intentional digitally stuff. Yeah.
I had sinus surgery in November. My wife had a baby at the end of November. My dad came and visited, broke his leg while he was here, and then my wife broke her ankle a few weeks ago. She's laid up for non-weight bearing
with a newborn.
With a newborn.
Gosh, man.
All that to say.
So it sounds like you need to get going.
All that to say, we've launched it, but we haven't like gotten running with it yet because I'm afraid of breaking a leg.
I don't know if we've mentioned that. I have wanted to make that joke a couple times now when I've been texting you. It's like, hey, Jeff, make sure you put some anti-skid stuff or something.
God,
I mean,
man.
Yeah,
I should mention too, though, we are doing this together. That's why we keep saying we and stuff like that. It's because I'm doing all the video work for Jeff.
Editing and
I love it though. You guys are doing something very cool that I think we desperately need in the area.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, I mean, we're not doing anything similar, but I do love the fact that you came on the show and we can help support what you're doing.
Yeah.
We want to keep supporting it as well. So, let us know if you're doing any events or you're doing something cool that you want us to help boost up or whatnot. We'll be more than happy to do that.
Do some live streams, do some other things.
Monthly shows, La Habana Vieja.
There it is.
And we're going to do more things once I get everyone stops
Start making money.
Then I'll be able to do.
If you make money, you can hire a nurse to take care of these people.
Right.
Yeah.
You just break their
I
legs.
see the light came on there.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
So they can find you at the Mystery Hour on Facebook. Tell us more platforms.
TheMysteryHour.com, WritersRoom.co, TheJeffHoughton.com, Jeff Houghton Facebook, Jeff Houghton Twitter, The Mystery Hour Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Writers Room Facebook, Instagram.
And if that was too much, just contact here at Exploring the Ozarks, because I work with Jeff, and I'll just handle. I'll connect you as well. Yeah. So,
Jeff, you are amazing, and keep being amazing for our community and for yourself and for your family. Yes, I'm glad that you chose the family route, because I'm a family guy as well. I know what it means to make sacrifices, but that's a big sacrifice to make, but it is totally worth it. Yeah. Very stoked about it. I hope everybody heals up well as well, and you can keep on doing what you're doing. But let's hope that we see Jeff Houghton back on TV again at some point, if that's what you want to do. But let's make sure that we support Jeff. So everybody, make sure you go to all of those places that he just told you to go to.
Support me.
Support him. And thanks for watching the podcast, and keep exploring the Ozarks. Thanks again for listening to Exploring the Ozarks. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our social media channels to help us keep exploring the stories of the Ozarks. If you're looking for more ways to support our show, we have sponsorships for businesses and Patreon for individual supporters. Check the links in the description for more details. Thanks for your support, and keep exploring the Ozarks.